The following program is a production of All the Way Live Entertainment.
This show is sponsored by APCW Wrestling Academy. Learn wrestling from WWE Hall of Famer Robert Gibson. If you're interested in becoming a professional wrestler, contact them at 770-871-5417 or online at apcwdouglasville@gmail.com. Also, by Collar and Elbow Brand. Save 10% on your next purchase by using our discount code WPNWrestle. That's WPNWrestle at checkout and get a discount on great collar and elbow products.
You know, and we all have our 15 minutes of fame, and I'd like to take a couple of my 15 minutes to talk about the rights and the wrongs in the world of professional wrestling.
WWE Championship.
This match is for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
The World Heavyweight Championship.
The match and new NWA Heavyweight Champion.
We appreciate you guys coming out and taking your time to support women's wrestling in America.
This match is for the AWA World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
My guest on the program is a model, singer, actress, MMA fighter, at least formerly, and professional wrestler. She's been on the WWE Network as one of the participants of the original Mae Young Classic, and now she's roaming the independent scene, taking on the world one match at a time, rebranding her wrestling career. Joining me on the program, Zeda Zhang. I might be mispronouncing the last name. You know, I'm hard with
No, you got it right. You got it right.
I did? Okay. All right. I got it. I'm glad that I had that. Now, you know, within all of that, I was talking about how you were taking on the independent scene one match at a time. Does it feel like you are a little bit more out there now because of the work that you put in recently?
Definitely. I definitely do feel that way, and being able to explore and go around not just around Florida, but in different states here and hopefully soon different countries. So it's been really nice exploring around the pro wrestling scene and within sports entertainment and just understanding that there's different styles and different people from everywhere. So it's been really nice and just getting out there and doing it and seeing how it's like to wrestle other people outside of NXT.
So, was NXT officially like your first foray into wrestling? Period. Was that the spot? I mean, you know.
Yeah, NXT was my first time wrestling, pro wrestling ever. I did some pro wrestling training out at Brian Kendrick's school over in Santino Brothers out in Los Angeles a little bit before my tryout, but I never actually had a match. So they just taught me various things, and then I went in for my tryout, got through, and I had the bulk of my training at NXT. So as a lot of people know, there's pro wrestling training all over, but then there's WWE, which they do it the WWE way. So it's a little different, and it's nice to be able to see different types of variety of different types of style. So it's nice expanding.
Well, you know, I have to jump on that question because, you know, everybody, well, at least some fans and some workers do say that there's a difference, and you just kind of acknowledge that. To the best of your knowledge, if you had to put your finger on the difference between, okay, here's what you do when you're in the WWE ring opposed to here's what I do when I'm outside of it, what would you put that on?
For starters, the sizing is different. The size of the ring is different, and the way we take a bump or do a flip bump and everything, we usually go off of one leg rather than two. And on top of that, it's not wrong. There's a various ways of doing things, and it's not wrong. It's just different. And WWE has their reasons of why they like to do one move a certain way versus another is because of placement, because they have to think about TV and being able to be seen by the audience or being seen at a live show where there's thousands and thousands of people all up on the very top of the arena. So they have to be able to see all of your movements. So everything's targeted towards that and where your placement and position is. And we definitely do things. I feel like the biggest thing is the speed also. It seems a lot faster outside of WWE, and it's a lot of cool moves. But in WWE, it's a lot of storytelling because we have to think about the longevity of product. So it's a lot of storytelling and just building the match based on a story rather than, oh, there's a bunch of really cool moves going on. And they want you to invest within the character that the story is being told.
Did you find that as a difficult adjustment?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that were very difficult and opposite of MMA, but then there was some things that was also very similar. But for the most part, it's just a different type of, I would say, a different type of interaction with your opponent, because it's very big on being on the same page and communicating. Whereas for MMA and martial arts, you don't really worry about that. You more so worry about yourself, and you worry about what you have to do. Whereas with sports entertainment or pro wrestling, it is a two-person thing. It takes two to tango, you know. So having to get that timing down and thinking about the other person, it definitely takes a lot more timing, coordination, and just being on the same page, and having that chemistry really matters as well too.
So why on earth? I mean, you know, at the beginning of this, I just listed off some things that you are known for having done, singing, and I'm not saying that you're giving any of this up, but why on earth, of all the things that you could be doing with yourself, did you choose the crazy, wacky, wild world of professional wrestling? I mean, because I was just at a wrestling school yesterday. My son is there, and the guy, Tommy Pinarelli is his name. He said, "You know why you do this? Because we're stupid." That was his answer. It's like I fall down for a living. I get hurt almost every day, but you know I love it. So I mean, it's a kind of a crazy thing and a weird relationship that you have with. I'm getting punished day in and day out, but I do it anyway. So why are you doing this?
Well, there's several reasons. I feel like, well, I guess the main reason is because I've always loved art. Art has always been my thing my whole life. And the problem with me loving art is that I've had trouble trying to narrow down which one I want to do. Like, I don't want to give up anything. I enjoy drawing just as much as I enjoy singing, just as much as I enjoy martial arts and dance and anything art related. I just absolutely love. It's like a love and a curse at the same time. But at the end of the day, I only have one life. I can't clone myself and do everything and do it to the point where I can have it be a full-on career. It's going to have to, at some point, something's got to give. And there's no way I can just keep on working myself into the hospital, which I've done, trying to balance out.
No, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, it was just crazy. But the thing is, I love all of it, and I don't want to have to give up any of it. And having to make that decision of having to give one up versus another, it kind of just eats away at me. And I'm always there wishing that I could keep pursuing the other thing. And I don't want to be stuck in that predicament where I'm always constantly thinking about wanting to do something else while I'm doing this, or feeling like I'm missing out on something. But when it comes to pro wrestling, it is the perfect combination of everything I enjoy doing. It's like I get to act. I get to pretty much be a model, pretty much be a singer. I get to do everything that I enjoy doing, and the martial arts aspect of it. All of it goes together. And it's just such a unique industry where it blends everything together, where I feel like this is finally the thing I've been searching for, is just not having to give anything up and be able to do everything. So this is the most fitting for me, and I've just been fortunate enough also to get that opportunity where it allowed me to explore it even more in depth, because I've watched wrestling as a kid, but I didn't understand what I was watching. And I thought it was the same thing as amateur wrestling. And so I went that whole route. I went and started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which led to MMA, and that's why my life went the way it did. Even though it was from pro wrestling, I didn't know the difference. So I went that route, finding out that it wasn't that, and I was already so deep into it, and I do really love martial arts. So it's just my life went that way, and I never thought I would ever get the chance to be in WWE, because I thought they only hired Olympic wrestlers or state championship winners. And when I finally got that opportunity, I just had to take it, and I realized it was the most fitting. So that's why I keep going this route. I mean, yeah, I still sing. Yeah, I still do all the stuff I enjoy. I just went and trained jiu-jitsu right before I called you. You know, like, I like doing all the other things, but I have to have that one main thing. And luckily, this one main thing satisfies all the things I've been wanting to do.
Okay. Now, within that, I heard one other particular venue of artists. I'm assuming, okay, you sing, you act, you may dance for all I know, and and wrestle. But did you say that you draw as well? Did I hear that? Did I
Yeah,
catch that in there?
yes. Drawing was the first art that I ever did in my life. And I did that since I was 2. And I just knew that I wanted to do art for the rest of my life. Like, I always knew that art was my thing, because I actually sucked at everything else.
So
Like, I
I
wasn't
don't believe that.
exactly I wasn't exactly the best with academics, but when it came to art, everything art related, I just loved and was able to pick it up easy, and that was just my thing. I ended up doing art my whole life, winning a lot of art competitions throughout my schooling, and ended up going to art school at VCU, which they were, I don't know if they're still ranked the #1 best public art school in the U.S., but when I went, it was ranked as first, like, the best public art school in the U.S. So I went there because of how great it was, and because also from me being from Virginia, it was the perfect thing for me. So I went there and went for graphic design, but at the time, I've been doing graphic design since I dabbled with it as early as 14 years old when I first started using Photoshop. And was playing around with it, and then later I realized this is the route I want to go, and so I went to college for it. But 2 years into my schooling, I realized that the market was oversaturated, so I ended up switching my major. But after college, my work life was still graphic design. So I did graphic design marketing, and that was my main income after college, until I decided I don't really want to be behind a desk. Like, this isn't really what I truly love doing. I thought it was, just because with my Asian background, it's ingrained in me that I need to go to school. I got to go get a good job after I graduate college, and I try that route. It just honestly isn't really for me. I've just always been intrigued with arts and entertainment. And I've been singing since I was very young, since I was 4. But I got more serious about it at 9, and then even more and more serious as I got older. So I realized that is more so, the entertainment route is more so the route of art that I want to pursue.
Okay. You sound like you were quite versed all over the place in that. Now, the real question is, where do you show your art off? I mean, because I know some cartoonists and graphic artists and whatnot that go on to deviant art. And for those that's listening, I didn't make up the name. Let's start off with that. I didn't make up the site. I didn't make up the name. That's a legitimate website where a lot of artists can
Yeah, I
pay.
know that.
So
I actually love that site. I actually go through that site and look at all the stuff on there.
it's a great site, but I mean, I had to ask a couple of times. I was like, "Are you sure this is the name? Am I mispronouncing it? Deviant art, really?" I was like, okay, well,
Yeah, it's deviant art.
you don't have a profile
I
up there, do you?
No, I don't. So doing art was basically my thing from very young all the way up until college, and it's always been traditional art. As far as my graphic design stuff, I have some stuff on my old Facebook, which I don't even know if I have anymore. I deactivated that Facebook. But I've posted my artworks here and there, but it's nothing that I ever really put out there in the world, because that comes with my background, I guess. I grew up really shy, like the typical art girl that you see in those pre-teenage movies, where this nerdy art girl that's really quiet and keeps to herself and just draws all the time. That literally was me. That was literally me. So I just drew to myself every time. After I was done with school, I would go home and hide in my room all day and just draw. And that's all I did. And so all my artworks, it was on traditional paper format. And unfortunately, moving so much, I lost a lot of it. But I do still have some of it. And the only time my art ever gets displayed is when it's for art competition, or they put my art up in all the schools, or in the school magazine and local magazines and such. So that is the only time my art is displayed. But other than that, I'm a very quiet person that keeps to myself. Or I was. I guess I still am, but I've taught myself to be out in front of the public more now with the entertainment background. But
Well, now you have to.
yeah, exactly.
Fully into it now.
Like now I'm used to it. Now I've enjoyed it. Whereas before, even though I wanted to do it, I feared it because I had really bad stage fright. But all before that, which was a long time, because I didn't get over my stage fright till I was about 22 years old. So that's not that long ago, like 22 years old. So basically most of my life, that was all the way through college. Like, I've really just kept to myself and kept all my artworks to myself, and no one really knows except for people who went to school with me, or my close friends, or the people who are on my Facebook that I used to have.
Well, now you got to show it off. You have to show it off. And yes, people, I know this is a wrestling podcast, but I have to ask these things because she's a multi-talented young lady. But yes, you have to show it off. You have to show at least 1 or 2 pieces of art off to the world.
It's been a long time since I really traditionally drew anything. I've been able to satisfy my creative side by doing arts and entertainment. So most of my art now is not the traditional drawing art, minus the graphic design stuff. Like my gear that I designed all that. My gear, my T-shirt design, like everything that takes any type of graphic design work, I've designed that. I have a new Twitch page out where I designed the layout. But now it's more, I guess, practical for the industry that I'm in, whereas it's not so much me just drawing just because I enjoy drawing. Because unfortunately, sadly, I don't have the time to just sit down and draw anymore. But I still do a lot of art now, just in a different way. The last artwork I put up is actually on my Instagram. So that was back in 2007. Was probably the last.
Wow. Okay, that's a long time.
Drew. Yeah, that was the last one that I drew on my own. That's not like a school project. So that was just me at home wanting to draw. So that was like a Assassin's Creed little sketch I did. Yeah.
All right,
it was
now.
Assassin's Creed, I believe. It was 2007. So I drew it.
Now you're going to have Assassin's Creed fans wanting to see that picture. You do know that, don't you? I mean, who is the Kotokushi Death Squad? Am I saying that correct?
Yes, you did.
Hey, that's 2 points for me.
So, yes, that is me and Sue Young. We're basically just like assassins, like Kill Bill type of stuff, where we just come out and basically tear people apart.
Yes, apparently I saw that on MLW on YouTube. I watch on the YouTube version. I did not see the one on beIN Sports, but I know you can watch the entirety of the show. And you two just came out and just destroyed two guys that didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything to you other than the fact that they were in the ring. I mean, how mean can you be?
Yeah, it is. It's really fun. It's really fun. I really like the dynamic and what they put us in, because Sue and I, we are so different from each other. But then when they put us together, we also blend so well in a way, even though we are very different. And I think that's what they want to see, and that's the whole reason why we are on MLW booked the way we are. So we're just two very different, mysterious characters that should be feared, and we're coming for anyone, and we're beating people up such as dudes. So it's just something that is to be feared and mysterious, and you're just gonna have to stay tuned to watch the rest. And we're actually airing tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right?
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
So
yes.
We're on beIN Sports tomorrow night.
Okay.
I believe at like 7, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be on beIN Sports tomorrow night.
All right. Now, normally I would ask people when you're going to make a stop through Atlanta, but I'm already late for you as far as making a stop through Atlanta, because you were here not all that long ago, and apparently working the Priestess Harlow O'Hara. I just needed to get that quick shot in, because normally when I do these, I make that question like, when are you making the stop through? But you've already done it, so, you know.
I'm actually coming back again.
Oh, okay.
I'll be coming back regularly for AWE, so I'll be back there. Plus, I really enjoy Atlanta, and I have friends there, so.
All right, well, good on you. I need to break out the camera and get out there then. I haven't been to an AWE show in a while, but they always run on Sundays. It's hard for me on Sundays, but that's neither here nor there. We won't get into that. beIN Sports, well, not beIN. That's the network. MLW. That's what I want to talk. MLW. How did that come across Was it just a matter of, hey, I'm free, and they contacted you, or the other way around, or how did that connection kick off?
So, one of my coaches at WWE,
Mm-hmm.
he has a great connection with them, and he actually referred me. And so they were interested and brought me on and really enjoyed what me and Sue did. So now we're on there pretty regularly.
And well, now you need a female tag team to kind of go against, don't you?
Eventually.
Eventually.
And that will happen as it progresses. But meanwhile, it's that build that people want to see. So we're going to be doing this for a little bit.
And you seem so much more sinister in that version of you. I mean, because now I can only compare that when I saw you in the Mae Young Classic, and then we're talking about MLW, and between those two, yeah, I mean, you came off as like complete babyface in the Classic. Here is just evil.
Yeah. It's like total opposite. But that's what I love about it is the range. And at the end of the day, it's you have to be an entertainer and you have to know how to act. And having to be challenged to go from babyface to switch and be heel and doing that on a constant basis because I'm not always heel. In Florida, I am heel, but then in other states, I've been babyface. So it just kind of, depends on how I'm being booked. But that's the challenge about it, and that's what's fun about it is being able to play a different character all the time and just be different aspects of yourself.
Speaking of that, now I assume because when I do this, I try to do some kind of research. I try to do my homework a little bit. But I saw a match where you were just talking, assumably Mandarin, to your opponent and the heel. I mean, to your opponent and the crowd throughout the entirety of the match.
Yeah.
So were you doing this solely to like, okay, I'm going to establish myself as the heel here, and I'm just going to annoy these people to no limit? Because all I heard then was like, speak English,
Yeah. I did it on purpose. It's to, kind of annoy the crowd, get them upset because if you don't understand the language, which most people don't understand Mandarin in Florida, it's a nice way to get heat and just completely use body language and facials to show them what I mean. Because at the end of the day, that speaks a lot louder than words. It means a lot more than what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter what I'm saying. For all you know, I could be saying I'm telling you on my newest fried chicken recipe, for all you know. Like, you don't know. But at the end of the day,
yeah, you
it's
could be
all
saying I
about
love you, and they're still going nuts.
exactly. I could be saying all sorts of stuff and no one will know. But the thing is, it's portraying yourself a certain way, and that's what the fans want to see. Because sometimes you got to think about the fans who are sitting in the back, or even the ones who are hard of hearing, or anything like that. But the facials, the movements, the body language is what really translate no matter where you are. Because that's what's so cool about pro wrestling and the entertainment industry when something is done right is that language should not be a barrier. Anyone can understand it. And like when I was watching pro wrestling as a kid, I actually didn't know English at the time, but I just knew I enjoyed it. It was enough to capture my attention. And it was the same for my grandmother. My grandma was that one that actually got me into pro wrestling. She was watching like WCW and WWF back in the day, and she did not know any English, but she was really into it and could understand it. Just purely by the facial expressions and their body language. And that's what I want to show to everyone is this is who I am. Like, focus on the character, not so much the words, but what this character is doing and how they're acting.
Okay, that makes sense, and I've heard that kind of description before, especially as related to somebody, as you say, your grandmother was watching, wrestling back in the day, and it certainly as it relates to those guys, because I know your Jerry Lawlers and people of that ilk became very good at body language in their era, and you could be in the nosebleeds and sitting there watching him in the ring, but you knew exactly what he was doing and how he was reacting just based on body positioning and his exaggerated movements and so on and so forth. So it all makes sense. And it is awesome. Those are really great stories. But before we go any further, thanks for listening to the Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling podcast. And if you like what you're hearing and you're a pro wrestling fan, then support us and your favorite pro wrestlers by buying your Collar & Elbow brand shirts available at collarandelbowbrand.com. They've got a huge selection of shirts and branded clothing to suit your taste. Go to the Collar & Elbow brand store on their website and check out the No Count Out, No DQ shirt or the Iconic shirt, which is the famous font of the Pro Wrestling magazine. Maybe you're a fan of a particular Chicago-based former wrestler / MMA fighter. Then you want the Wendy shirt. Well, how about the great designs on the Collar & Elbow brand established in metal shirts? Or, if you really want some cool designs, check out the Signature Series. The Good Brothers Dojo, Simon's Gym, Planet of the Capes, and the Crown Jewel Chase Owens shirts are all available right now at collarandelbowbrand.com. Make sure you use our code WPNRussell and save yourself 10% on your purchase. That's 10% off of your purchase by using our promo code WPNRussell, and you'll support us in the process. Head over to the site, throw our code in at checkout, and make sure you support everybody that's in this wrestling game. That's checkout code WPNRussell, WPNRussell.
It's time for random questions.
This is the portion where I give out random questions. It doesn't necessarily have to do anything to do with wrestling per se, but it could be. So I want you to give me your best answer, game show style. Are you ready?
All right.
As an actress, what type of role would you kill for?
As an actress, what type of role would I kill for? Honestly, any lead role where it's like an action movie lead role.
Okay.
Let's beat people up.
See,
and walk away from an explosion.
Oh, you want the impossibilities to work. I mean, you want that. If you want impossible in an action movie, go see Skyscraper. It's a good movie, but there's at least 2 scenes there. It's like, oh, come on. Give me a break. So yeah, that's what you want. You want that moment.
I want the most cliche, funny, like action movie. I am all about that.
Well, just come up with your catchphrase for when you punch somebody in the face or something like that. Then you'll be ready. I don't know what that would be. It's dinner time, or something like, I don't know. Some ridiculous. Anyway, name an opportunity that could be offered to you that you would turn down.
Playboy.
Yeah, I'm surprised. There was a point in time with like every woman that was remotely involved with WWE. Well, I'm not gonna say everyone. Most would have taken that. Okay, but we'll move on. Is Aquaman underrated?
I have not watched it, but
it hasn't come out yet. Okay. Your opinion of flat earthers?
Flat earthers?
Yes.
I'm gonna go with science and just I'm I'm kind of a science nerd, so I kind of am more of a round earth type of girl.
Okay, so shout out to Tyson Neil deGrasse for
I mean,
shattering.
they have their own theories, and I'm not knocking it, but
Well, I've
yeah,
heard
I
the
kind
theories too,
of
but I'm like, okay, but this has been debunked like several times. But I'm just saying. Tyson knows what he's talking about. That's all I'm saying. I've heard the man speak. The Earth is round. There's a reason it's round. Anyway, I'm not going to start any fights with the flat earthers today. Uh, what is the worst pickup line you've personally heard? Didn't necessarily have to be towards you, but what's the worst one that you've personally heard?
I don't know if this is a pickup line. It was for the purpose of picking me up, but they were trying to bum a cigarette off me, and then they tried to hit on me. They were trying to use that as a way to talk to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess there's worse ones. I guess all in all, that's not too bad.
Like, even for me, I feel like even if there's bad ones that's cheesy and funny, I can respect the fact that they were at least trying and being funny.
Well, there you go. Just as long as they don't do the Tales of the Creep version, and they don't do that.
No, yeah,
Okay.
as long as not that.
Okay. Well, there we go. They didn't have to go through that portion of it. Word association. You've been on the independent circuit for a little bit now, so I'm going to toss out 5 words. You give me the first name that hits your mind that you associate with it. All right.
Okay.
Strong.
Strength.
Yeah, strength. Any particular worker that comes to mind off of that?
Well, outside of WWE,
It could be either one, WWE or independent.
I think of Bianca Belair.
Ooh, that's a good one. Silly.
Silly, Jessie.
Talented.
Talented, Rich Swann.
Sexy.
Sexy. Sexy, I would say Mandy Sachs.
And superstar.
Superstar. Velveteen Dream.
That's a good one. Yeah, I guess if anybody oozes charisma and looks like a superstar, that would be the one.
Yeah.
Fantasy booking.
You quite possibly could be doing this because you are part of the Death Squad right now. But fantasy booking. If you were to book your own angle and or storyline, whom or what would have? You're an artist. You're creative. You could write your story right now. You have the pen. You got the book. You're gonna write it out for the next month and a half, 2 months. What is your fantasy booking going to be?
Let's see. I would say, fantasy booking. I would say I would want to be booked with either Mercedes Martinez, or with Eva Lise again. I just like their styles a lot, and I feel like we would play off each other a lot. And it could be with Eva Lise, it would be like she has an MMA background too, so I feel like it would be oh man, there could be so many stories. It could be like we're training at different MMA gyms, and then we end up having like because with MMA gyms they'll sometimes have open gym and you just train with other people from other gyms, or it could be various things where she fought one of my teammates or whatever else, and I'm trying to get revenge or whatever, and we end up having to fight each other, and then we somehow get booked in pro wrestling. So there's just so many things because of the similar background, and I just worked with her this past Saturday, and I feel like it would just be a fun match to have. And Mercedes Martinez, she worked my friend last year at Mae Young Classic, and I really like her style too, and she just has that like really badass, tough type of demeanor, even though she's like the nicest girl ever. But she's got that tough demeanor, whereas I feel like it could be more of a situation where she's probably one of those people that, you know, that one, I'm trying to think of that one movie. There's this one movie, Coyote Ugly, where the girl, the main chick, she ends up meeting this other chick that is living in New York, and she just has this tough demeanor, but really deep down, she's like a nice person. I feel like it would be something like that where we would work that type of character in, where it's like she might be mean to me the whole time because I am newer to the scene, where she's been doing it for a while, but then later it turns out that she's not so mean.
Okay. And a old movie reference tossed in there too. Coyote Ugly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think of it like a movie. Of course, this is giving away spoilers and stuff like that, but like just the stuff leading up to it, it's like you fight, and there's all this drama with each other, but then eventually it ends up being all right. It ends up being fine, and then it turns into a tag team. It could be something else. Someone else could come into the mix. Like, so many things that can be done with it.
And if you're going to rip the movie off, you have to have a proper bar for y'all to have the dance number on top of first.
I'm fine with that.
I'm just saying, you know, that was like the gimmick behind Coyote Ugly, is that that was the famous bar that they would do the shows and whatnot on top of there. World's most famous bartenders.
World's favorite bartender.
Yeah, something
You
along
said
those
world?
lines. The world's most famous bartenders.
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. World's most famous bartenders? Like, you're asking me who I think it is?
Oh, no. I'm just saying that
You're
about
just saying, yeah, they are. Yeah.
about
they
the
are.
girls, because as far as I know, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I believe that movie was actually based on a legitimate bar. That's where the inspiration came from. So, yeah, that.
Yeah, it is. And now they actually have it as a franchise everywhere.
They do? Oh, well, okay. Well,
yeah, I know they have one. They have one in Vegas.
Well, you taught me something new. I should have went there when I was in Vegas. I didn't go. I didn't know it existed. I would have gone, even though Vegas is super hot and I was sweating in the middle of the night walking around there.
I think it's in New York, New York. It's the New York Casino in Vegas.
Okay. Well, now I know for when I go back. Now I was trying to power through these things because I know time is of the essence. So, you know, I have to get your social media platforms and booking information so that fans and promoters can contact you. No creepy fans now. I don't. You guys give her a break. Don't start that crap online. She's looking to do some legitimate business here, maybe some fan stuff. If you got some artists out there, maybe you send her a picture or something like that. You know, you can kind of converse over the artwork. But please, if you be so kind to drop your social media.
Yes, my Instagram, it is Zeda, Zeda _Zhang, Zhang. And my Facebook is facebook.com/the Zeda Zhang, TheZedazhang. And same with my Twitter, the Zeda Zhang. And then my Twitch, though, my Twitch is a little different. I go by Chopsticks Queen.
What?
Chopstick Queen is my Twitch that I'm starting.
Chopsticks
That I just
Queen.
started.
Am I saying that?
Chopstick Queen, sorry.
Oh.
Without the S, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Chopstick Queen.
Well, you know, you're gonna have to shoot me that in the messenger so I can make sure that I put it in there correctly. I might spell it wrong, and I don't want to do that, or you know. So please, if you just shoot me the message so I can make sure that I give it proper connection. Well, it sounds like you already done it. Okay, so there we go.
Yep, just did it.
So there we have. She's quick on the draw with that. And yes, Chopstick Queen. Wrestling, gaming, music, and your random life. How about that? And if you go there, you'll see her tossing a big super kick onto the air, apparently. So yeah, all right. So what are people going to be expecting when they follow you on Twitch? They're going to be watching you play some games or something like that.
It's going to be just everything about my life. You know, I'm going to be doing some gaming, but definitely going to be going over some wrestling stuff, going over food, because I really like to eat. That's actually like a secret passion of mine. I really like to eat, so I'll be eating a lot.
Oh, wow, okay. See, now that's the stuff that I should have been asking. Secret passion, food, apparently.
My and my music stuff, and just really just I guess mostly wrestling stuff. I'm gonna have like my wrestling fans over. I'm actually about to have Shane Strickland over just to be on Twitch and just be stupid and just talk about whatever. People can jump in and comment, because that's how Twitch is set up. They could write messages and stuff. So it's just a nice interactive way to interact with everyone and kind of be like a virtual hangout session.
Well, that sounds good. I might have to be one of the people that's hanging out then. I may tune in so I can watch.
Yes.
So if Mr. Green 75 pops up there, then you'll know it's me.
Awesome. We'll be on there being stupid.
So final thoughts before I close this out, and thank you for hanging in there. I appreciate you sticking through this.
No, thank you so much.
Is it
any questions? Lots of fun.
Well, I think I'm going to have to bring it back on. I'm going to have to do a part 2 so we can go dive into the Twitch stream and your secret passion of eating. I mean, I'm not sure how that becomes a passion necessarily, but because you'd have to work it off.
I'm a big foodie, so, and with the industry I'm in, it's like I'm always having to watch my diet. It's like, I just want food in my life. I just like to eat. And my parents, I grew up around the restaurant business, so I'm really into food.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, you're going to have to wait a couple of years to when you're not watching your strict diet like you are right now. Today you're an athlete, and you can't do that. So in your honor, I will have this slice of cake for you.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I know that's a hard thing for me to do for you, but I think you deserve that. You deserve me eating this cake for you.
Why, thank you. I really appreciate that kindness.
You're welcome. I'm glad I can help you out. So that said, for those that's listening here, thank you for tuning in and catching myself, Mr. Green, and Zeda talk. I know we sounded like we probably was talking at a high rate of speed, but it was time. It was very, very timely conversation that we were having this evening. And I appreciate her taking the time to come on to the show and share a little bit about herself. And that's just scratching the surface. So I really think that if there's a part 2, I will post that onto the Women's Pro Wrestling Network Facebook page and leave you the option to leave your questions. A lot of times you guys leave me questions after the fact. If you want to get the questions to the interviewee, leave them where I can get them. So you want to message Mr. Green 75 at hotmail.com. That's Mr. Green 75 at hotmail, and I will get those questions to her, or you can drop it onto the Facebook page when I put the official post up, or leave comments in the section below this, and I will read those when I rebook her to come back a second time. So I think that will work. So for myself, Mr. Green, and for Zeda, I will say thank you for tuning in and listening to us yammer on for a little bit, and we will catch you in the next interview, folks. Say goodbye, Zeda.
Thank you. Bye, y'all. Talk to you guys soon. Ask away on those questions. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for listening to the WPN's Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling. If you have questions or comments, please contact us via our Facebook or our YouTube channel at the Women's Pro Wrestling Network. If you're new to the WPN, feel free to subscribe to our channel and like our page. We appreciate your support. Thank you again for listening.